Most parents think of sleep as the end of the day. The goal is to get the child down, survive the bedtime battle, and finally have a moment of quiet. That's completely understandable. But what neuroscience has discovered about sleep might permanently change how you see those last 30 minutes of the day. Because your child's brain does not go offline when they fall asleep. It goes to work. Every experience your child had during the day, every word, touch, gesture, and interaction is processed, consolidated, and wired into long-term memory during sleep. And the hours just before sleep are the ones that feed this process most directly. Even 20 minutes of a pre-sleep routine can dramatically affect memory, attention, and emotional regulation the next day. Today, I'll show you what actually happens in a baby or toddler's brain during sleep. Why a consistent bedtime routine is more than a calming strategy. The specific evening habits that set the brain up for overnight learning. How small mindful adjustments can compound into lifelong cognitive benefits. What happens in a sleeping brain? Sleep is divided into cycles. Within those cycles, there's slow-wave sleep, also called deep sleep. During slow-wave sleep, the hippocampus, the brain's short-term memory storage, replays the day's experiences. Experiences are transferred to the neocortex for long-term storage. Superfluous connections are pruned, making room for important networks. The brain is refreshed for the next day. Think of it as the brain's overnight filing system. For babies and toddlers, this process is even more critical than for adults. A landmark study in PNAS by the University of Sheffield followed 216 babies aged 6 to 12 months. All babies learned a new skill, removing a mitten from a puppet. Half napped, half stayed awake. Results: only babies who slept retained the skill. Dr. Jane Herbert noted, "The optimal time for infants to learn may actually be just before sleep, not when they are most alert." This changes bedtime entirely. The last 30 minutes of the day may be the most neurologically valuable. Why routine is brain medicine? A consistent bedtime routine does more than make sleep easier. Research shows that predictable routines in early childhood are linked to longer sleep duration, fewer night wakings, better emotional regulation, stronger cognitive development. Why it works? Predictability signals safety. When your child's body recognizes a sequence that reliably precedes sleep, melatonin rises. The nervous system downshifts. The brain transitions from processing to consolidation mode. A bath, story, and song in the same order every night is not just calming. It's a neurological cue that tells the brain, this is the end of the day, safe to consolidate learning. Even small rituals like giving your child a soft toy to hold, or dimming lights gradually over 5 minutes, add consistency and safety signals that help the nervous system settle. The 4 evening habits. Habit 1. Reduce stimulation 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Screens off. Active play winds down. Lights dim. Even a short period of reduced light and calm before bed can improve slow-wave sleep by up to 30%. Blue light suppresses melatonin and delays deep sleep. Practical tip: swap TV time for quiet sensory play, like stacking blocks or simple puzzles. Even reading aloud in a dim room helps. Habit 2. Warm water. A warm bath signals the body it's time to sleep. Slight drop in temperature signals the brain. Activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Reduces cortisol. For a developing brain, this transition from activation to calm sets the stage for deep, restorative sleep. Mini example: let your baby splash lightly, or pat water with hands. Playful but low stimulation, reinforcing the wind down. Parents can comment on sensations, for example, the water feels warm on your toes. Adding extra language input just before sleep. Habit 3. Read a story. Reading aloud before bed is highly effective. Provides language input in a calm context. Builds vocabulary and narrative comprehension. Creates serve and return interactions. Gives the sleeping brain material to process and consolidate. Remember the Sheffield study. Information learned just before sleep is retained best. Even a short story can improve memory retention and language development overnight. Mini tip: ask questions during reading. Pause for responses. Even nonverbal cues count. You see the dog? What is he doing? Baby babbles, points, gestures. Habit 4. Skin contact and calm voice. The final minutes before sleep are crucial. Gentle touch releases oxytocin. Soft, slow voice reassures the nervous system. Phrases like, "Good night, I love you," signal safety. Mini example: rock your toddler gently. Repeat a comforting rhyme, pause and smile, then lay them down. Adding a small, repetitive cue, like patting a blanket or singing a short melody, reinforces consistency and signals time to sleep. This is not just sentimental. It tells the brain, the day is complete. You are safe. Time to rest and grow. What happens overnight? A 2020 study in Nature Communications at Max Planck Institute showed babies aged 14 to 17 months learned new word-object pairings. After sleep, babies didn't just remember. They encoded rich episodic memories. Babies who stayed awake didn't form these precise memories. Sleep isn't just consolidating, it's completing learning. Every conversation, word, and serve and return interaction during the day becomes permanent architecture in the brain. This is why the last half hour before sleep can be more powerful than an hour of daytime teaching. Common mistakes and corrections: skipping wind-down time, using screens before bed, rushing the routine, ignoring nonverbal cues. Correction: slow down, smile, mirror, pause. Even brief attention builds circuits. Add context. Gently name what your child did that day, hum a favorite tune, or repeat a word they said. These small, deliberate moments help cement learning, reinforce social-emotional skills, and cue the brain that sleep is safe and predictable. Pausing to notice subtle behaviors, like a yawn, stretching, or closing eyes, teaches children to attune to bodily and emotional cues, further supporting self-regulation. Mini-fall example: your 15-month-old resists bedtime. You turn off the TV, dim the lights, and give a warm bath. You read a short story and pause for reactions. Gentle rocking, soft humming, and eye contact finish the routine. Result: baby falls asleep calmly, retains newly learned words and skills, and shows better mood and attention the next day. Even 5 minutes of mindful, consistent routine each evening makes a measurable difference. What's coming next? You now have the full picture, from morning to night. The final video completes the series. A complete daily routine from waking to sleep. Think of it as a practical reference guide you can save and reuse. The last video will show how small tweaks across the day compound into enormous gains for your child's brain. Watch it now.